80%. Think about that. 4 out of every 5. 80% of Mexicans live on this strip of land. It's a geographic anomaly, a thin line cutting across a map. You wouldn't believe it just looking at it. A simple line on a map dictates the lives of millions. But why? What forces push and pull people to this specific region? The answer, like most things, is complicated. It's a story of history, of economics, of geography, and of the human spirit's endless capacity to adapt and persevere. We're going to dig deep, unearth the layers of this phenomenon, and understand why this seemingly arbitrary strip of land holds such significance in Mexico. We'll travel across mountains and valleys, through bustling cities and quiet villages, all connected by this invisible thread. We'll meet the people who call this strip home, hear their stories, and understand the forces that have shaped their lives. Get ready to explore. This is Mexico, uncut and unfiltered. Now, I'm not talking about some arbitrary line drawn by politicians. This isn't about borders or states. This is about something much deeper, something etched into the very fabric of Mexico. It's about the forces that shape a nation, the choices people make, and the realities they face. Think of it as a journey. We're going to follow this strip, this artery of Mexican life, and see where it takes us. We'll explore the history, the culture, the economics, and the geography that have all conspired to create this fascinating phenomenon. From the bustling heart of Mexico City to the quiet countryside, we'll see the diversity of this strip. We'll meet farmers, artists, businessmen, and families, all connected by this common thread. We'll hear their stories, their struggles, and their triumphs. This isn't just about demographics. It's about understanding Mexico, its people, and its soul. So buckle up. It's going to be a wild ride. To understand why this strip of land holds so much weight, we need to rewind. We need to go back centuries, to a time before Mexico was even a whisper on the wind. The Aztecs, those architects of empires, knew something we're only beginning to rediscover. They understood the power of this land. Their capital, Tenochtitlan, a city built on a lake, was a marvel of engineering and a testament to their ingenuity. It flourished on this very strip, fed by the rich volcanic soil and the abundant water. This wasn't just coincidence, this was strategy. Centuries passed, empires rose and fell, but the importance of this strip remained. The Spanish conquistadors, for all their brutality and greed, recognized its value. They built their cities on the foundations of the old, further solidifying its importance. The echoes of these empires still resonate today. The ghosts of their cities, their roads, their very way of life are woven into the fabric of modern Mexico. And this strip of land? It's the thread that connects them all. Fast forward to the 20th century. Mexico City, the modern-day inheritor of Tenochtitlan's legacy, explodes. It becomes a magnet, drawing people from the rural countryside with the promise of opportunity, of a better life. Factories sprout up, hungry for workers. The city's boundaries blur, sprawling ever outwards, consuming everything in its path. This isn't just urban growth. It's a demographic earthquake. And guess where it's centered? Right on that strip. The same strip that hosted the Aztecs. The same strip that witnessed the rise and fall of empires. History, it seems, has a way of repeating itself. But why? It's more than just history, though. It's about access. Access to jobs, to education, to healthcare. The same things that draw people to cities all over the world. But in Mexico, these opportunities are concentrated, clustered along this strip, making it the epicenter of Mexican life. Imagine a moth drawn to a flame. That's the pull of this strip. It's a beacon, shining brightly in the darkness. But this light, like any, casts long shadows. The influx of people, while fueling the engine of the Mexican economy, also creates challenges. Overcrowding, poverty, crime, these are the realities faced by millions living on this strip. It's a land of contrasts, of dazzling wealth and grinding poverty, often existing side by side. But amidst the chaos, there's beauty. There's life, raw and unfiltered. There's the spirit of the Mexican people, their resilience, their warmth, their ability to find joy in the face of adversity. This strip, for all its complexities, is a microcosm of Mexico itself. It's a land of contradictions, of challenges and triumphs, of beauty and despair. It's a place where history is alive, where the past whispers to the present, and where the future is being written every single day. We've talked about the history, the magnetic pull of this strip of land, but let's be real, this ain't just about ancient empires or pretty lights. This is about money, cold, hard economics. See, this strip, for all its problems, is the economic engine of Mexico. It's where the jobs are, where the factories churn, where the money flows. And people follow the money. Always have, always will. But there's a flip side to this coin. The sheer concentration of people, the relentless demand for resources, it puts a strain on everything. Housing, infrastructure, the very air you breathe. Progress comes at a price, and sometimes that price is steep. The gap between the haves and the have-nots, it's a chasm in some places. You can be walking down the street, see a gleaming skyscraper, and right next to it, a slum. Two different worlds existing side by side. Now, you might think this strip is all concrete and chaos. And don't get me wrong, there's plenty of that. But it's also much more. Venture beyond the sprawling cities and you'll find another Mexico. This is the Mexico of rolling hills, of fertile valleys, of ancient traditions passed down through generations. The land here, it's not just dirt and rock, it's lifeblood. For centuries, this land has sustained communities, provided food, and nurtured a deep connection to the earth. The people here, they understand the rhythms of nature, the ebb and flow of the seasons. They live it, breathe it, every single day. And even though the lure of the city is strong, there's a certain pull, a connection to the land that keeps many rooted here. It's in their blood, in their bones. It's who they are. There's something else at play here, something beyond just economics and geography. It's about culture, about identity. The Mexican people, they have this incredible sense of community, of family. It's woven into the fabric of their society. And this strip, this corridor of life, it acts like a giant family reunion. It's where people come to connect, to celebrate, to share their stories and traditions. It's a melting pot, a kaleidoscope of colors, flavors, and sounds. Think about the food. My God, the food! Each region, each town, has its own unique dishes, its own secret ingredients. And this strip? It's a culinary map, a journey for the senses. This shared culture, this sense of belonging, it's a powerful force. It's what draws people together, what makes them want to stay, to build a life, to raise their families. It's the heart and soul of Mexico. So, here we are, standing at the crossroads. On one hand, you have this economic powerhouse, a magnet for opportunity, a beacon of progress. On the other, you have the weight of history, the strain on resources, the challenges of inequality. This strip, this thin line on the map, it represents a delicate balance, a balancing act between progress and tradition, between opportunity and sustainability. The choices made here, the path this nation takes, will have ripple effects for generations to come. It's a story that's still being written, a story of hope, of struggle, and of the enduring spirit of the Mexican people. Now let's talk about the lay of the land. Mexico, you see, it's like a giant bowl ringed by mountains. And this strip? It runs right through the middle, this elevated plateau, caught between the peaks and the coasts. Think about it. The mountains, they create natural barriers. Tough to build on, tough to farm on, tough to live on. But this central plateau, different story. It's got this perfect combination of altitude, climate, and soil. Ideal for agriculture, for cities, for life to thrive. No surprise then that this is where civilizations took root, where empires were built. The mountains, they might seem like obstacles, but they've also been protectors, shielding this strip from the worst of the storms, creating a microclimate that's perfect for human habitation. But it's not just about the mountains. The coasts play a role too. Mexico, it's got thousands of miles of coastline. Beaches, deserts, jungles, you name it. But here's the thing. Much of the coast, it's not exactly prime real estate. The deserts, they're unforgiving. The jungles, they're beautiful, but tough to tame. So people gravitated towards the center, towards this strip of land where the climate was milder, the land more fertile, the opportunities more abundant. It's a classic case of geography shaping destiny. Now don't get me wrong, the coasts, they've got their own charm, their own rhythm. And in recent decades, we've seen more development there, driven by tourism and industry. But for the vast majority of Mexicans, this strip, this central corridor, it's where the heart of the country beats. It's the spine, the backbone, connecting everything together. And then there are the volcanoes. These silent giants, looming over the landscape, a constant reminder of nature's raw power. Mexico, it sits on the Ring of Fire, a zone of intense seismic activity. And this strip? Right in the thick of it. Now, you might think that's a bad thing. Dangerous, unpredictable. But here's the twist. These volcanoes, they're also a source of life. The ash they spew, it might bury cities, but it also fertilizes the soil, making it incredibly rich and productive. It's a double-edged sword, no doubt. But it's this constant interplay between risk and reward, between destruction and creation, that has shaped this strip of land for millennia. The people here, they live with this duality. They respect the power of nature, while also harnessing its bounty. It's a relationship forged over generations, a testament to human resilience and adaptability. So, we've got this perfect storm, you see? Mountains, coasts, volcanoes. All these forces converging on this one strip of land, making it the most logical, the most appealing place to be. But there's one more piece to this puzzle: human choice. See, nature might deal the cards, but it's people who decide how to play them. Over centuries, the people of Mexico have made conscious decisions to build their lives on this strip. They've invested in infrastructure, in agriculture, in industry. They've created a society, a culture, a way of life that's intrinsically linked to this land. And that's what makes this story so fascinating. It's not just about geography or economics. It's about the choices we make, the risks we take, and the legacies we leave behind. It's about the enduring human spirit, the will to survive, to thrive, to build something meaningful in the face of whatever challenges life throws our way. Up to this point, we've talked about history. We've talked about economics and geography. But let's be real, numbers on a page, they can't tell the whole story. To really understand why this strip of land is so significant, we need to meet the people who call it home. These are the faces in the crowd, the ones who bring the statistics to life. They're the shopkeepers, the teachers, the street vendors, the mothers and fathers raising families. Each with their own story, their own reasons for being here. Take a walk down any street in Mexico City, and you'll see the diversity, the energy, the sheer will to survive that pulses through this strip of land. You'll see the dreams etched on the faces of young people arriving from the countryside, hoping for a better future. And you'll see the quiet resilience of those who have lived here for generations, weathering storms both literal and metaphorical. These are the human stories that give this strip its soul. Meet Maria. She's a grandmother now, her hands gnarled with age, but her grip strong as she stirs a pot of mole on a rickety stove. Her story, like so many others, is one of migration, of leaving a small village in search of opportunity. She arrived in Mexico City with nothing but the clothes on her back and a fierce determination to create a better life for her children. She found work as a maid, cleaning the homes of the wealthy, her own dreams tucked away for another day. Years turned into decades. She raised her family in a small one-room apartment. the city noises a constant backdrop to their lives. She watched the city grow, change, and sometimes crumble around her. Today, her children have children of their own, scattered across this same strip of land, chasing their own versions of the Mexican dream. Maria's story is not unique. It's echoed in millions of lives, a testament to the enduring strength and sacrifice of the human spirit. This strip of land, it carries the weight of millions of dreams, some realized, some still flickering like candles in the wind. There's a young man, Miguel, who spends his days hunched over a sewing machine in a garment factory, his nights filled with the melodies of his guitar, dreaming of becoming a musician. There's Sophia, a single mother working 2 jobs to put her daughter through school, her eyes holding a mixture of exhaustion and unwavering hope. And there's Carlos, a street vendor selling tacos from a battered cart, his smile as warm as the tortillas he presses, dreaming of one day opening his own restaurant. These dreams, they fuel the energy of this strip. They drive the relentless pace of life. They are a testament to the enduring belief in a better future, a future that's often just out of reach, but always worth striving for. The beauty of this strip of land lies not just in its history or its geography, but in the tapestry of stories woven together by the people who inhabit it. It's a place where hope and hardship coexist, where dreams are chased and sometimes shattered, where life is lived with a raw intensity that's both exhilarating and heartbreaking. Every face in the crowd, every life lived, adds a thread to this tapestry, creating a rich and complex portrait of what it means to be Mexican. It's a story of resilience, of adaptation, of finding joy in the face of adversity. As we've journeyed along this strip, explored its history, and met its people, one thing has become abundantly clear. This is a land of contradictions, of challenges and triumphs, of beauty and despair. But above all, it's a land of hope, a place where the human spirit continues to thrive against all odds. Now, you can't talk about the forces shaping this strip of land without mentioning the big guy, the government. Love it or hate it, the government plays a huge role in the lives of everyday Mexicans. Think about it. Infrastructure, education, healthcare. These things don't just happen. They're shaped by policies, by investments, by decisions made in those grand government buildings. And over the years, those decisions have had a profound impact on this strip of land. Sometimes for the better, sometimes not so much. Take infrastructure, for example. The government has poured billions into highways, airports, and other projects designed to connect this strip, to fuel economic growth. Now, on paper, these investments sound great. Better roads, more jobs, a brighter future for everyone. But the reality, as always, is more complicated. Sometimes these projects come at a cost. Small villages displaced, traditional ways of life disrupted, the gap between the rich and poor widening. And then there's the issue of corruption. Let's just say that in Mexico, the relationship between the government and the people isn't always built on trust. So you've got this constant tension, this push and pull between the government's desire to modernize, to develop, and the needs of the people who call this strip home. So where does that leave us? Well, the future of this strip of land, it's tied to the decisions being made right now in those government offices, in the streets, in the hearts and minds of the Mexican people. Will the government be able to address the challenges of poverty, inequality, and corruption? Will the people of Mexico be able to hold their leaders accountable to demand a more just and equitable society? These are the questions that will shape the destiny of this strip of land, that will determine whether it continues to be a beacon of hope or becomes a symbol of the challenges facing Mexico. One thing's for sure. The story of this strip of land, it's far from over. It's a story that's still being written every single day. We started with a simple question. Why do 80% of Mexicans live on this strip? We've traveled through time, explored history, felt the pulse of the city, and witnessed the quiet dignity of rural life. And what have we learned? We've learned that this strip, this seemingly arbitrary line on a map, is so much more than just geography. It's a story of human resilience, of adaptation, of the enduring spirit that binds a nation. It's about the forces that shape a people, the choices they make, and the dreams they dare to dream. It's a story that's still being written. A story of challenges, yes, but also of immense beauty, of unwavering hope. It's a story that reminds us that even in the face of adversity, the human spirit, like this land, endures. So, the next time you see a map of Mexico, don't just see borders and cities. See the stories etched into the land, the echoes of empires, the dreams of millions striving for a better life. See the heart of a nation, beating strong on this thin, remarkable strip of land.